Welcome to Market Pulse, I hope you're doing well. This week the player count took a big hit, dropping just over 10% to land at 964,000 average players. Meanwhile, the market cap tells a different story, climbing just over 2% and hitting the $4.3 billion mark. The 301 index, tracking some of the most liquid, high-volume items in the game, also rose over 2%, a sign that despite fewer people, players are more engaged. The brokies, the low-tier index also rose this week just under 3% and outperformed the rest of the market, showing an increased demand for budget-friendly skins. As for the mid-tiers, the growth was on par with the rest of the market, just under 2%, but below the low tiers, so we'll see if that trend is confirmed with the next index. The brokies are rising up. The high-tier index only rose by 1.45%, which is below even the market trend. Wow. As for the knives and gloves index, we can see that demand for knives greatly increased this week, 1% over the market trend at 3%, and barely dipped for gloves, it didn't even cross under 1%. The demand for extra cosmetics was surprisingly high this week, agents were just under 4%, and charms followed the market at 2%. And finally, the cases index, we can see there's a clear high demand for 2016 to 2019 cases, and finally barely any growth for the pre-2016 cases. Therefore, the market pulse this week is gaining momentum. Welcome to Case Crackdown, where we break down the happenings in the case market over the past week. As you can see, just under 6 million cases were opened the last week, of which just over 60% were from the active drop pool, about a quarter were rare cases, and the rest were either purchased or discontinued. The most popular purchasable case was, to the surprise of absolutely no one, the gallery case, which saw 400,000 openings, which is actually lower than its weekly average or Friday last week. The most popular actively dropped case was the Dreams and Nightmares case, which saw a huge increase of its opening numbers to just under 900,000 cases. And the most popular rare case was the Danger Zone case, which was opened just under 200,000 times, but an increase of 1000% over 7 days, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. The most liquid case this week was the Fracture case, one of the active cases, with over 250,000 cases listed right now on the market, but its unboxings numbers decreased by 9%. The case with the most potential was the Shadow case, with a sustained increase in price over the last 30, 15, and 7 days. And unlike the Shadow case, the Dreams and Nightmares case just decided to crash out this week, losing 9% of its value over 7 days, which is equal to an 18 cents loss per case. And as for Dadscap's pick of the week, I've decided to go with the glove case, and despite it being a doozy in terms of price, I just think that if you want to invest in cases, you gotta get this one as soon as possible. If you're enjoying the recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell in the face to stay informed of the weekly happenings of the CS2 market. Thank you. Welcome to Winners and Losers, starting off with the biggest cases W, which have mainly been OG cases despite the pre-2016 index telling us there was no interest for them. And as for the biggest L's of the week, clearly newer cases have taken a big hit, no matter whether they're in the active drop pool or not. AKs are, as usual, the biggest winners in the play skins category, and we can see some M4s starting to rebound from the slaughter of the last weeks. No major loser for the play skins this week, we can see that one of each is present in the top 3 and the losses are minimal. Low and mid-tier knives seem to be on the rise, indicating an increase in demand for affordable knives, which reinforces the trend that we saw in the low-tier index segment. Same as for play skins, there are no discernible loser here, so these ones are probably just market fluctuations, really, don't overthink it, buddy. OG gloves are on the rise. The Emerald Web and the Bloodhound from the glove and Hydra case have gone up the most this past week, and they're followed by a second generation glove. What do you want me to say? Players aren't selling. I don't know what else you expect from me. I guess moto gloves aren't trending anymore, okay? Leave me alone. Deagle heat-treated holders may finally start seeing some gains after weeks of red, and as for the USP Peregrine, I'm guessing a new profitable trade-up just dropped, hence the big increase in price. Apart from the Mendy, who seems to be coming down from a psychotic break, the losses for pistols this week have been pretty moderate, so no comment there. Welcome to ROI Radar, where we'll be looking for a money printer hidden in the armory or the in-game store. Starting off with the Shanghai Contenders capsule, which has the third best actual ROI, so Steam fees included, at 89%, which means that the odds of profit are equal to 8%, and you're expected to lose 3 cents every time you open the capsule. The best item is the rare item gold at $28. The second best ROI from the in-game store is the Halo capsule at 91%. The odds to profit are significantly higher at 34%, and the expected value is 91 cents or a 9 cents loss. The best item is the Incineration Hollow at $4.25. And the best ROI that the in-game store has to offer comes from the Enfu sticker capsule at 95%. The odds to profit are slightly higher at 38%, and the expected value is of 95 cents, or 5 cents loss. The best item is the Unicorn Hollow at $3.85. Moving on to the armory, the third best ROI you can find comes from the Elemental sticker collection at 102%. The odds to profit are at 24%, and the expected value is at 41 cents, so a 1 cent gain. Wow! The best item is the Ruby Wave, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, $10.15. The second best item is the Missing Link Charms at 105%. The odds to profit are of only 17%, and the expected value is $1.26, or 6 cents gain. The best item is the Hot Howl Charm at $54.18. And finally, the best ROI you can find in-game comes from the Graphic Design Collection at 108%. The chance to profit are abysmal at 10%, but the expected value is a 12 cents gain. The best item is the Op CMYK at almost $400. See you guys next week.